All right, so my name is Andrew Hoskins. I'm the camp director this year. This is going to be my 12th summer up at Pioneer. The first time as the camp director, though.
My name is Wayne Goretzky. It is my 4th year up at summer camp, and I will be the business manager this year.
You were the medical?
Yep, the medic was one of my jobs the past 3 summers.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of different things. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious right off the bat, how many of you guys have been to Pioneer before? All right, so just about everyone here. Sounds good. Welcome. Go ahead and take a seat if you guys are here for Pioneer. All right. So as I just said, my name is Andrew Hoskins. I'm the camp director. This is Wayne Gretzky. He's our business manager. We're really excited to have you guys come up to Pioneer this year. Our program is going to be, we've got some new things that we're going on this year. First of which is we are now going to be offering rafting on Fridays for any of your boys who are interested in that. It's through an outfitting company based out of Maupin, Oregon, and they're going to be doing that rafting on the Santiam River. And it's going to take place on Fridays. The cost for that is going to be $50, and there is a waiver that needs to be signed in advance, and that's going to be available on the website. It's not up there yet because I'm still getting the paperwork through with the rafting company. Is that your question? Or?
Well, I was wondering if we could use one for Baldwin.
It's going to be very similar to the one from Baldwin, but we'll have our own one for that. Yeah. And yeah. Does anyone have any questions on the rafting part?
Requirements to attend?
I need to double check if we have an age requirement on it. I think we do though.
Is there a description, like what class rafters and all that kind of stuff?
Up to class 3. Yeah.
How many spaces are available?
So we're looking to have maybe 10 to 20 people go out each week. We don't have a firm top number that we'll have, but we'll just do a lottery if need be on that. Just to let you guys know, I just finished up working at the outdoor school site that I've been working at all spring. So mentally, my head is still there, and I haven't fully switched over into Camp Pioneer. So I'm a little slow on thinking up an answer to something. That's why. But I'll do my best to get those answers to you. And anything that I don't know off the top of my head, we can get that covered through email in the next couple of days. Question?
What site were you at?
Triple Creek?
My son just got home 2 hours ago from Magruder.
Okay. Well, I hope you had a good time. All right. Other new programs that we have, we are going to have a steampunk area, which is being added this year. If you guys don't know, steampunk is a genre of science fiction that kind of combines the steampunk age, Victorian era, motifs with futuristic sci-fi technology building cool stuff that does things. And it's a really great excuse to have a fun way to do a lot of STEM things. And so all the merit badges that are in our steampunk area are also STEM merit badges. So things like engineering, electricity, electronics, robotics, inventing are all part of that area. And one of the big themes that we're going to be having and emphasizing in camp is that anyone who's, when you meet up with struggles in your life, then if you just kind of sit down and start really thinking through, what's going on, you can engineer yourself some sort of solution to get it solved and kind of move forward from there. And so we're really going to encourage that in, kind of different aspects of camp this summer. We're also going to be having some kind of larger scale projects that are interesting in various ways that we're going to be building. And these are just kind of more to see and spark the imagination. One of the ones that I'm most excited about making is a cuckoo clock, which is going to sit above the trading post. So if you guys have been up there before, there's a door that's maybe 4 feet tall, 3 feet wide. And, I want to engineer a way that we can open that up and have a 1.5 foot tall cuckoo bird pop out of that, just for the fun of it, and to get people asking, how does that work, and that sort of thing. We're still brainstorming the different sorts of projects that we're going to be putting out there, but it should be pretty interesting. Does anyone have any steampunk related questions?
It'll be online, right, so the kids can see it.
The different merit
If
badges.
the kids want to see it.
Oh, the projects themselves.
Well, no, just if they want to see what it's all about. I never heard of this before, maybe they have. So they can go online and read about it or something.
Oh, just what steampunk is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of stuff online
But
about that.
to get them interested.
Yeah. All right. Let's see some other new programs that we have. We're going to be offering personal management and family life as a combination class for older scouts. And the idea with this is, since these are 2 merit badges which are commonly procrastinated until you're 17 years old, what we're trying to do with this is just cover, just a few requirements in each one just to get the ball rolling. At their core, these are merit badges that you have to do at home, and we're not going to kind of infringe on any of that content that has to take place in the home. We just kind of want to give them that little kick in the pants, so that as soon as they come home from camp, they can finish off the rest of that and hopefully get that done a little bit earlier.
On the afternoon, if they have done some of the stuff ahead of time,
Mhm.
and they can finish it there.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Is there a couple other merit badges that are listed on the grid the same way?
Mhm.
2 merit badges with the slash. Are they also being offered as a double merit badge?
Yes.
Okay.
So any of those slash ones, it's one class hitting 2 different merit badges,
Mhm.
and it's typically because they're very closely related merit badges, and it's there's enough time that we can get both of them in there. We also have a Cascade Ranger program. The guy who we have running through this year has been doing outdoor recreation stuff for quite a while now. He's part of Cascade Rangers last year, and he has I think he's just now finishing his associates in outdoor recreation. So he's very knowledgeable about backcountry work. And so he's going to be taking groups who sign up for the Cascade Ranger program, which is a week-long program outside of the regular merit badge program. And they get to go backpacking for 2 or 3 nights during the week throughout the Jefferson Wilderness area. And while they're out there, the big focus is going to be on backpacking and navigation skills and some of those more challenging things while they go and have an opportunity to climb up, Jefferson or Three Finger Jack or, some of the other peaks that we have out there. But there's also a little bit of time to work on some merit badges that they may need, and it's very flexible. So oftentimes if someone needs to work on communications or something like that, some of the downtime they could spend working through some of those requirements if they need it. Just knock out one more Eagle requirement during that period of time.
Is age limit on that?
Yeah, it's either 13 or 14. I forget which we set it for this year, but that's listed in the program guide.
Is there a pack list for that?
A pack
A
list?
separate pack list? For them to agree it's a separate pay pack.
We don't have a separate pack list for it, but basically as long as they have a good hiking backpack and, sleeping bag, which they should have anyway, so they're pretty much good. We have a little bit of gear. If you do have, one scout who doesn't have a backpack who's really interested in doing it, we have a couple extras.
Which is
Yeah.
a separate thing, how much do they need, tends to, what do they need to do the Southbound project part of it?
Yeah. So I would just say any backpacking equipment that they have, go ahead and just have it on hand. But don't feel the need to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff because we do have a little bit we can supplement with.
But, the little
Yeah.
stoves and the water treatment and all that stuff.
Yeah, so stoves and water, all the food stuff we'll supply. Yeah. Yes.
You take adults on them?
So if there is extra space, adults can sometimes join along, and it's kind of up to the discretion of the our Cascade Ranger on that as well. So the Cascade Rangers will backpack around through the Jefferson Wilderness area, which has a limit of 12 people, is the maximum group size. And so 2 of those are occupied by the staff members who are running the program. And so the remaining 10 slots are for scouts. And so if we have 10, we can't have any adults on it. There also will be kind of an optional zombie survival theme with the Cascade Ranger program. Just kind of an excuse to really dig into a lot of like land navigation and just reconnaissance type skills, and kind of make it more fun than just the traditional, just kind of walking through the woods. But it's going to be up to the interest of the group. That might be included, might not. Given the week. Right. So those are the big new program items that we have. Does anyone have any general questions about what our program entails?
There was listed an adult program with the waterfront. What is that?
There's the aquatic supervision course, which trains you up to on how to supervise and run aquatics activities within country.
The wetsuits are off that,
Wetsuits?
Yeah.
Sure.
they don't freeze.
So Pioneer, by the way, is the shallowest lake that we have in the council, so it is also the warmest one of all the CPC camps.
No, it's,
So,
It can be cold sometimes,
it's
but
not
it is
as
a little warm.
involved as.
There's been ice on this week once, some years.
Yeah.
It's cool, but not freaking.
Yeah. That's all the key things that I was planning to cover. If you guys have any other questions,
So I have never done this before.
okay.
So some of these questions may be absolutely redundant to the majority of the people in slicker shirts that I got. Random questions here.
Yep.
In addition to the A, B, and C, do they need to have copies of insurance card?
That's part of the medical, it should be on.
The
A, B, or C asks for the information.
But, so
A asks
if
for
I
it.
have A, B, and C complete, I don't then in addition need a front back of their card.
Well, B says specifically, I don't know where you write the card information down, says, please attach a photocopy of both the front and back. It's right on the form.
Okay, so, because I've been hearing,
I'll have to.
so I've been hearing that.
You've been hearing
Different
different ways,
ways,
read the
yes.
form, read
Yeah.
all of the form. is what it says.
So-
So then, yes,
According to what the form says, yes, you need to have it photocopied and stapled on. In practice, that's written in there so that if a scout has to go to the hospital, they can just have that copy of the form with them, and then insurance is all taken care of. Otherwise, you have to go through the hassle of tracking down that information.
So being someone who's taken a kid to the hospital, 3 different medical camps, or 3 different summer camps, the lines that are on there do not provide all the information that the hospital needs.
Okay.
Typically, they want the phone number to be able to contact and verify the insurance, which ironically is not the information on there, which is why you need to go to that.
But if you have, if one of the scouts' parents, their insurance is the Department of Defense, because they're military, they may not have an insurance tag. On that same line, it says, or provide a statement why copy is not been provided, so that they know this person is a DoD civilian and there's not an insurance tag. And then it's just make a, you don't have to write a letter, but they want to see why there wasn't progress. So they're probably from the hospital.
they have tractor.
They might, but we had a problem, it was a skipping point last year with one of our, with the parents of one of our scouts, and we finally saw that line, just write that in the line.
So what it comes down to is if you look at the paperwork, read the paperwork says and follow it.
It'll be,
And after say, that's gonna make it easier for everyone.
but it's one more thing.
So the trainings, there are trainings for adults
Mhm.
during the camp. And
Yes,
those are all found on the website,
they're in the program guide.
they're in the program guide.
Yep.
And do we need to pre-register for those, or do we
Nope.
just show up and?
Just show up. Yep.
Okay. And you mentioned hack list, and that is available in the program guide on the website.
Is it a program guide or a shared guide?
I can glance through that real quick.
It was in one of them.
It's always in the program.
I don't know.
It's like we just talked about this.
And that's download.
I believe it's in the generic one, because I haven't seen it.
I think
Yeah,
some of them are camp specific, because I know that like all of them will tell you to make sure to bring tanks for horse rides and things, which isn't very useful if you're going to a camp that's not all within a week period. So, use the most specific information you can find.
yeah. We don't have one in our program guide itself, but we have no special things that you should be bringing other than, hiking stuff or backpacking stuff if you plan to be part of the Cascade Rangers.
It was in one of the two guides, the leader guide, and so. Computer guide is generic for everything. The program guide is specific.
Yep.
So for merit badges, we're pre-registered for merit badges, but they said it's kind of, it's a guideline. Are you gonna do lottery when you get there? It's gonna be show up for merit badges, as on Monday, just go where you wanna go.
Yeah, so it's for informational purposes, just to help you guys organize yourselves and also to give us a heads up on
Right.
how many people are going to be in different merit badges. So if we know ahead of time we need to have an extra staff member to split a large class or something.
But if they change their mind
Um,
on Monday morning, they can run off to that merit badge.
Yeah, so after we do our first flag on Sunday night is when we do our merit badge midway, and that's when people sign up and declare kind of final, this is what I'm going to do. And we'll do the lotteries after that happens and announce them usually the next morning during breakfast.
Lotteries
or flight.
available?
So kayaking is one that has a lottery because we only have a certain number of boats. Cascade Rangers has a lottery. Robotics will have a lottery if we have too many people and not enough equipment for them to work with.
Is robotics a complete merit badge?
I forget off the top of my head on that one.
Andrew, you're saying that you're holding the merit badge with me.
Mhm.
That's the first one. That if it's a merit badge where there isn't a lottery,
Yep.
that there's no need to change your registration in the morning. That first day they could just go to their changed merit badge without bogging you down with
Right.
making the changes.
Robotics is a complete. Yeah.
They've got some of the cultures, you know, and say they can do these pieces once.
Yeah.
For the rafting, I was just looking, it doesn't say anything about needing regulars. We typically need the adults.
Oh. Yes, we do need adults to drive. For that.
That's what both kayaking and
Just the rafting. The kayaks are on our lake itself.
And so he said downstairs, you run the lottery on Sunday for Monday starts, is that correct? You'd like to report beforehand?
So on Monday start weeks, we do kind of the lottery like right as the class is starting, just because we're always going to have lots of people who don't sign
I
up.
think he misunderstood the question is Monday arrivals on Sunday start. Because that's what he answered, but.
No, that's what it seemed like to me, you know?
Yeah.
He answered the wrong
So, from Battleground, Washington, so I'm envisioning we're gonna be leaving like 3 o'clock in the morning, drive down there, show up at 6, and hike in, right? Is this a?
So 1 o'clock is our start time. Are you a Sunday arrival or
We're a
Monday?
Monday the 9th.
Monday? Okay.
July, 1914.
So we are not a hiking camp. So you just drive right into our parking lot, and then from there you'll be able to you'll be met with a troop guide. So one of our younger staff members who will be kind of your sort of ambassador for the week to help give you information and guide you around. They're going to do like a super abbreviated tour with you, help you through med checks, get you up to breakfast real quick, and off the merit badges. And most of the rest of like the gear moving in, you'll kind of do when you have spare time during the rest of the day.
Situated, keep it going.
Yeah.
Are cots recommended? Is that something?
If you would like.
Everyone?
So we have wood platform tents.
They're wood platforms, they're 2x6s that make the platforms for tents. So
Yeah.
if you've got a cot, you're gonna sleep there for a week.
I was gonna go, I think about all the time. As a youth, none of my son was the only youth who ever had a cot. And that's the most, because I haven't been.
But for this camp, so parking with the gear, they'll be able to bring their gear in at a time. And
They'll have to walk to their campsite, and that could be a few hundred yards.
okay, that's fine.
But yeah, but they're not gonna be back there.
Right.
And, you could even bring a full-size airbag and a battery-powered inflator, and make everybody else in camp be also here. I think it's a little. It's pop on the wall. Yeah. Yeah, and bring it back.
So we had a question online, which was, with the medical form, do you need to have a copy of your vaccines as well? Ideally, we just need all that information written in there. That just helps the hospital. If that's not in there, it's not the worst thing. It just means there's a hassle of finding that information in the event that that information is needed. So ideally, you should get all of that information on to your med forms about vaccines.
The vaccinations are listed in Part D, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then my understanding is that you're not necessarily looking for the dates, just haven't had it. I've been told that you just check.
Tetanus is the big one. You should have the date for tetanus. It's the most commonly needed vaccine to look up how recent it was. Because anytime that you have a deep enough cut, you're going to want to know, how recent was your tetanus to know if you need to boost it.
So all those other ones I have for years from childhood.
Yeah, just check the box.
Because I lost my records.
They didn't accept that.
It's, a lot of people do that,
Yep.
So tetanus was date, all the others were just check the box.
Strictly speaking, they should all have the dates. As far as what I'm really concerned about, just tetanus should have the date. So we have a question which was, we have half our troop coming in the morning as they are all flying in from sea base. Is there anything special that we need to do with them? Hope they get well rested. Let me think. There's not anything off the top of my head that I could think of that they would need to do. Unless, if any of them are planning to take any of the classes that require lotteries, email me and let me know about that, and so that we can put them into the lottery system as well, so they have a fair chance at getting into those merit badges if they're interested in them. All right. So the question, what hospital is near Pioneer? We're about equal distant from Bend and Salem, and so depending on what the nature of the emergency is and what the preference in particular is of the person who's injured or their parents, that kind of determines which hospital they get sent into.
For your lotteries, do you pay attention at all? Is it just like all the names go in a hat and get pulled out? Or do you pay attention to any of the kids who are possibly like 16 or 17 that this may be one of their last games?
Yeah, so with the Cascade Rangers in particular, and we'll probably do this with rafting as well, we'll be biased towards older applicants for those because they're much more aimed to that age level than they are to some of the younger applicants. Yeah. All right. So the question is, where can I get my email? So it is on the Camp Pioneer website online. You can find it. But that email is pioneer@bsa.camp. And that email is just kind of a front. It forwards to a Gmail account. So when I reply to you, you'll see it from that Gmail account, which is pioneercpc@gmail.com.
pioneer@bsa.camp.
Yes, pioneer@bsa.camp. Yeah.
You mentioned the barbecue. When is it?
We do not have a barbecue. I think it's like the chili cook-off.
Well, a lot of camps do have like the end of the week barbecue on Friday. I know all of them have something like that. I know some of the camps do a cup track.
So our end of the week meal is the same structure as all the other ones. It's a little bit nicer because it's the last meal. But yeah, there's nothing kind of special about our final meal. Yeah.
Is there questions from some folks already about if they brought extra money, is there a place for snacks?
Yes. So we do have a trading post. And they're welcome to spend as much money in there as they want, and learn about fiscal management and eating too much sugar, and get some good hard lessons on how to be responsible with those sorts of things.
Personal finance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know the guy that said, we talked about 11-year-old coming up on Wednesday. It's, I called for some inquiries on that, and specifically for the LBS program, but it tends to be, or required to do that?
It is not required in
So
UNC.
that's some 11-year-olds that are not doing this, the camp this year, that are not LDS.
Yeah.
And is it the potential
Yes,
that
they are
they're
welcome.
on Wednesday?
Did you? Yeah, you emailed about that.
I didn't
Yeah.
know about that.
Yeah, I've been swamped this past week. But yeah, that was on my to-do list to respond to that.
So they, there's,
So yes, they are welcome to come up for that.
so I'd like to have them exposed to
Yep.
some of the
You can talk for a second about the campsite meals, troop-wise, troop gear, what should we be bringing for that? Or is it, I mean, they look pretty simple, but, you know,
Yep.
making stew if we don't have our, I mean, normally for summer camp, we don't bring our patrol boxes or anything like that,
Yeah.
unless we're going to Baldwin.
So we provide all the materials that you need for having that meal.
Okay.
If you want to have your extra stuff, by all means,
I was
you
just
know, have
looking
it
off
up with you.
the heading here with bring your mess kits, and I wasn't sure if that was like our own place to eat off of, our own, everything to cook it. I don't know, that's just the title that was in here in the program.
Yes, you should have your mess kits.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they should bring something,
Yeah.
their personal gear to eat off of, but the cooking things are provided.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a forward app or what is the?
I'm trying to remember exactly what the meal was last year, but traditionally it's been a foil meal.
This one says dinner is camp stew and lunch is hot dogs and chili dogs.
Yeah.
Which I assume the chili for that. I'm looking
it's fine.
So now, I got the direction when I read that, for those that are working on the cooking meal plan.
So
Is that required of everybody at camp to
the
cook their own meals on one?
So those two meals would be depends on how strictly you want to interpret what the requirements say for the cooking merit badge, whether or not you want to consider those as meeting the intent of those requirements. The way that the cooking merit badge is designed is that you have you have to like do all the planning, budgeting, buying of food, and cooking of food.
Is this cooking those two meals in camp required of everybody in camp? Or
Yes.
is the cafeteria?
So the dining hall is not open during that period of time. Yeah.
So we'll be issuing stoves and pots and pans, in the year.
Yep.
And all we gotta do is mess it.
Yeah, just mess kits.
So is there anything, so we're looking for honor troop again, is there anything that's required for honor troop that is not on the list of things to bring? And I say we were there a couple years ago, maybe 3 4 years ago, and it was required for honor troop to do a dessert for your troop pets. And we had not planned to bring the cooking camp dessert with troop pets. So is there anything on the list that is?
So the requirements for on-guard troop haven't been set for this year yet. They kind of get reviewed and updated every staff week. That one slipped by me, but it seems like kind of an unfair requirement, so I'll make sure that we get that taken back out.
There's been on Wednesday, but
Yeah.
it happened, so.
Yeah.
No, it was a oven cooked pumpkin. So
Yeah.
doing the fire storm. So that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. I think we have some more online questions. All right, so one question is just double checking which classes include a lottery. So kayaking, Cascade Rangers, robotics, rafting might have a lottery if we have a very high number of people who want to take place or to do that. Yeah, those should be. Hold on. Rowing would have a lottery as well, although very rarely is that ever needed for rowing. Most people go for the paddle boards and the kayaking and canoeing. So stand-up paddleboarding is another one, where we're limited by the number of paddle boards that we have. And yeah, that'd be all of them that have a lottery.
So,
I'm gonna do one more online question here. So the question is, adult medications need to be in prescription containers. Yes, all prescription medications should be stored in their containers. So in the event, which should never happen, that a container gets lost, we can make sure that it gets returned to the proper person.
Do the adult medications need to be in the same lockbox, or can the adult manage the medications themselves?
Yeah, as long as they're locked in some form.
Yeah. They can manage them themselves.
Do you know Russell does?
You still need to log it, right? Or it's just used for logging medication for?
Yeah, so just youth need to have their medications logged.
For those that are on high blood pressure medicines, please be aware that Pioneer is a high elevation and you may need to have your medication modified. My husband got called because of medication, but we had clear across Camp one year because somebody was passing out and they were going to call in the ambulance to take him out before they realized the meds.
So yeah, we're at 4,600 feet up there. So as a double check on question, so the only cooking gear that's required is mess kits. Otherwise, we supply the materials that you need for the campsite cooking meals. Pill organizers for adults. Yes, that's okay.
They still need to log that. With the pill organizer.
Yeah.
Lock bag, it's theirs.
Yeah, so it should be clear for someone who is looking at those medications, if need be, what each one of those pills are.
So that's just prescription medication. Someone that takes herbal formulas, that doesn't count.
That should be labeled as well, because if we don't have a label on it, then we don't know what it is, and we don't know if it's a prescription or not.
So do we have to list that with the dispensed medication?
Yeah.
Like with upper adulthood, no.
So we don't have to record adults who take medication. Only youth has to be recorded on that form.
And then include herbal.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to log it, but it should be on the medical form.
I need to double check on that one actually, whether or not herbals need to be recorded on the med log. Yeah, email me about that and I'll send that back to you.
Herbal multivitamin thing.
Yeah.
Okay, something like that. Special, but
Yeah. One like simple rule of thumb is if you have no problem logging it, might as well just cover the bases on
I
that
was
one.
gonna say, from Guided Safe Scouting, if it's something over the counter, it needs to be on his medical, he's being given one of the scouting events. So
Yeah.
if it's on the medical, we might as well just log it.
none of this is over the counter. Just bought for sure. But
That's what over the counter is,
Not prescription.
non-prescription.
Yeah.
Even though it's not prescription, if the parents say that the scout has to be taking these supplements, dietary supplements for weight, to keep their weight up, because they're not eating or whatever. If the parent says that the scout has to be taking this, then we really have a duty to be logging that they're taking it.
Right.
Making sure that they do, even though it's just store bought prescription, because we're taking on that role, making sure they take the medications, even or the supplements. They're the same role. That's how I would look at it personally. I think we should track it, log it, store it, make sure they take it.
Does that answer your question?
This scope is for our size, so we're gonna have about 7-8 boys and 2 leaders. That would be as far as area of supervision. How big is this place? How many people are going to be there? Max capacity. How kind of
Our biggest week right now is about 160 youth. And then, another probably 40 or so adults and 40 or so staff members.
As far as scout camps go, Pioneer is very compact.
Yeah.
It's just not spread out. Everything's right around the lake. It's all, for being in the mountains, it's flat.
Yeah. The trail that encircles the lake is about a half mile long, for reference.
It's only that one, felt like about a minute.
It's the elevation.
I was told to ask if you could do a generator.
For what purpose? So we do have a generator at camp. That's what we run off of during the day, and then we shut it off at night. Yeah. Yeah. So we do want to have that piece for everyone, so they have that experience during the night. If you have a specific need, I'd be happy to talk with you afterwards about it. Yeah.
So you recommend taking a troop out for a day hike or overnight. Do you have a particular recommended night of the week to do a troop overnight if that's it?
It depends on what evening programs your troop is most interested in making sure that they're there for. So if you have people who are doing wilderness survival, that outbound usually goes out Thursday night, and so I'll work around that. The intertroop campfire takes place Wednesday night, and so that's the time that the scouts in all the campsites come up with their own skits, and they're putting on the campfire instead of the staff. And then Sunday night and Friday night are the staff run campfires, and so Monday and Tuesday tend to be the most open times, but Wednesday, Thursday can also work depending on what your troops' interests are. Yeah.
So I've been to training this one time before, and it was a Monday through Thursday marathon program, and a Friday they did everybody on camp.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
That is not still the case. So I've been talking with Brett Hungerford, who's the wilderness manager for the Jefferson Wilderness area and several other wildernесses, on kind of clarifying the interpretation of the 12-person per group limit and what counts as a group. And what he would, so when we started out the program, we didn't kind of check with what his interpretation was, and we took a little bit too liberal of a stance on how many people we could send out. So, yeah, so that's why we're not doing that anymore.
Just want to make sure it's correct.
Yep.
Monday, Tuesday evening programs 7 to 9, is that just open program areas or is there set activities?
So so during evening program, there is set activities, and those we'll come up with during our staff week, depending on what the interests are, and then that schedule for evening programs will be posted in the websites.
So the more you want to post that information.
It'll be during staff week that we develop that.
So we'll be sent out to
So I'll make sure that we don't have anything in it that you need to have advance notice for. Yeah. Yeah.
Question regards to when you leave, so if you're leaving on Saturday, and so those departure date, like get up, have breakfast, take off.
So get up, get everything packed up, everything moved out of your campsite, and then we'll have. Yeah, breakfast comes first. We'll have breakfast, and then there'll be a closing flag ceremony. And once that flag ceremony is done, everyone will just head out to the parking lot and head home.
So before breakfast, you do in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What time is it usually? What time?
9 o'clock breakfast and awards is what it says.
That's good.
So we have a question: how many skits would each troop need to do for the intertroop campfire? It is up to your troop's discretion. Typically, each troop will do about one. It also kind of depends on the size of your troop and the motivation and how eager the other troops are to produce a lot of content. So there's a lot of variability there. Any other questions?
How many years founded in something?
It was founded in 1936. All right. Well, I thank you guys all for coming. For any of you guys who want to pick up your pre-orders, we can do that now. So you can go ahead and just find the bag that has your troop number on it, and they're all in order. I forget which way is ascending.
Small numbers are here, large numbers on that.
All right. So once you find your bag, once the 4-digit ones.
I said the 4-digit number is on the set.
Yeah. So the 7 digits that is an artifact of the merging of councils. We often ignore that number when we're sorting people. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah. Once you find your bag, go ahead, double check that the count is correct, because we want to make sure that you have the right things, and we can get anything exchanged if need be. And then once you have that, we have a form for you to sign off just to say that you've picked up your pre-orders, and we'll go from there. And any other individual questions that you guys have, you're welcome to come up and ask me. All right, thank you.
Andrew, I'm Tom Spear. I'm the guy who emailed you last week about engineering the merit badge in the
yes.
week that goes from July to August. So
Yeah.
I'll be around, and I'll pull together some stuff that I read the requirement. I'll pull together some stuff that I can show them if I'm needed.
Yeah.
And I thought of the dumb question that I would ask you, and I didn't ask, but I was there last year for the Eclipse camp, so I was going to ask you, which week are you doing the eclipse? And you could do that.
I'm working on it.
That was. I'm making plans to be at there's same thing is happening to a scout camp in April in Texas in about 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And if that camp is closed, I'm going to just be squatting at that camp to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to go all the way up. But I think Texas is going to be a good chance to be cloud free.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Sounds
thanks.
good. Thank you.
So I recognize you. I Leave No Trace. We were there a couple years ago when we had full lightning storms. We got evacuated like 3 times.
Yeah.
But so the 11-year-olds coming in, is there a program for them, or are they just coming in and hanging out? Is there?
There is a program for it. I don't know it off the top of my head.
But there's something for them to come in.
Yeah,
And they're
so
just gonna
there'll be a
want-
staff member who's working with them, going around to different areas doing stuff with them.
Okay,
Yeah.
just want to make sure there's something. If as a scoutmaster, would have to figure out for them to do while everybody's off doing merit badges.
Yeah.
So you've got something that's planned for that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then troop shirts, we didn't get a pre-order, so we got pre-registered, so we have shirts coming. But where will they be coming? Will it be at camp?
We'll be at camp. Yeah.
Okay, so we get Bill to come just do.
All right. Sounds
Thank
good.
you. See you
Thank
May
you.
7th.
I was told we were,
This is the yeah. So you just sign on.
I've only been called the weekend for camp because I can't find anybody else. I was told they pre-registered before May 1st, but we don't have to have the shirts.
All right.
And then he didn't have our troop number down on his 2-page list.
Okay.
So I'm wondering,
Um,
did they register for a different camp?
do you know for sure that they registered before and ordered shirts before that?
That's what I was told. I don't personally. I'm just going by what I was told.
Okay. All right. Double check with who told you that, and they can email me and we can sort it out. But yeah, if you guys pre-order shirts, then we'll just have them at camp. All right. There might be other questions that pop up here.
But like you said, especially if you're going one of the groups that's closer to full, having adults pull attention back and front of the band, just in case. Short on space, it's way better than not.
Yes, so if you ordered shirts and you're not currently coming to this pre-camp meeting, then you pick them up when you show up at camp. Yes, so the t-shirts. We don't usually send out t-shirts, and so you'll be able to just pick up those t-shirts when you come to camp. All right. So I thank you guys all for listening to the live stream. Please email me if you have any further questions, and I hope you guys have a good night.